Nick Vial soft launches Greg and Victoria's relationship. Eliza provides some clarity on the Rodney-Justin love triangle and what's going on between Gabby and Erich. We are here to break down the biggest Bachelor Nation news of the week. So welcome back to our channel, everybody. As always, I'm your host, Zachary Reality, with Blakely McHugh and Kayla Thompson. And before we get into all the tea, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you guys are new here. Blakely, Kayla, how are you guys doing? Happy Friday.
Honestly, I'm a bit sleepy. I went to an improv show last night, which was really fun, but I'm a little bit tired. Always excited, though, to talk about the Bachelor headlines, so I'm ready for it.
Same for me. Yeah. I mean, I'm having a pretty good Friday. Can't wait for the weekend. But yeah, a lot of stuff going on in Bachelor Nation. So excited to share some tea.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this first headline about Nick Vial soft launching Victoria and Greg, we've got to talk about it because everybody in, Bachelor Nation has been wondering what's going on between Victoria F and Greg. They were originally spotted together in Italy a few weeks ago, and then just recently, after they filmed the Bachelor in Paradise reunion in Los Angeles, Greg apparently showed up to the reunion, and him and Victoria were spotted at the airport, on the airplane, and arriving in Nashville. So it truly is just not that big of a secret. But Nick Vial, a friend of the two of them, actually posted on his TikTok a video of them and Joe and Serena at his house from last weekend and wrote in the comments, soft launch. Now, we heard Nick talk a little bit about this on his podcast. He did not confirm or deny any relationship. He did say that they were definitely hanging out and that he was posting his friends. But if you saw the video, Victoria F clearly kissed Greg on the cheek. So there's no secrets here anymore. Victoria's secret is out. So I got to know what your guys' take is on this relationship and on Nick weighing in. Blakely, why don't you start us off?
I mean, if Nick can get the scoop and get people talking about him and mentioning his name, I think he's gonna do it, especially if he's getting the okay. Clearly they are friends. It was kind of like an intimate dinner. So if they're saying go ahead, might as well. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's already seen the photos of them in Rome traveling together. At this point, whether or not Nick soft launched them, I think we've all kind of already known. So I'm actually thankful for more confirmation here.
Yeah. I think when I saw the video, I was like, oh yeah, of course. Like I guess their aesthetic kind of has just been, we don't care. We're out here. Here we are. We're happy. And yes, although Nick isn't going to say on his podcast, yeah, they're official. They're boyfriend and girlfriend. I think the only reason why he's not saying that is because it's not really his place when they haven't had their platform to, talk about it on the reunion. But it's pretty obvious. I mean, they went to a whole nother country together. I mean, he's in Nashville with her. They're together. It's not like they're hanging out. We all know that they're pretty legit. Obviously, Victoria's talked about, she wants something serious. So I think, if Greg is going to show up to a reunion, it's not going to be just because he's hanging out with her. So I'm excited to see kind of like just where it goes with them and how they talk about it. I think they're kind of a cute couple. So
I mean, we have to remember the show was filmed in June, so much has happened since the filming of Victoria and Johnny, which we all pretty much know fell apart quickly after Paradise. So I think that we are long overdue for this reunion, which will probably air in a couple weeks on ABC, to give us the updates about how we got here, because it has been so many months. So Victoria and Greg, clearly they are hanging out, obviously. They've been spotted together, and I think that everyone's just looking forward to hearing them kind of explain like how they met, what's the updates of their relationship, how things fell apart with Johnny. And this is giving us some new hype and some new excitement because this season is it's just been a lot of episodes. And I think we've complained about this on other reality shows as well, when things air not super close to real time. Because like I said, it's been 6 months. And when we're going to talk about Love is Blind after this, like that is like filmed a year in advance. So this isn't even that crazy. This is why Love Island is different, because it's more live. It's like a day or two after. So I'm kind of here for Victoria and Greg. I hope that there was no overlap with Johnny. I think that was like the biggest concern. But Blakely, do you think Victoria F and Greg could get married and engaged one day, or do you think we just can't even assess until we see them together at the reunion?
Can't even assess. We need to see them together for a little while. It actually shocked me. I mean, I know that we don't know 100%, but we basically know 100% that Victoria and Johnny get engaged at the end of Bachelor in Paradise. And honestly, it shocked me because I don't see Victoria. I mean, I guess she did go on The Bachelor too, which you get engaged quickly. But I find, for some reason, I feel like she's more of a slow mover, even though history on these shows says she's not. But it shocked me that she got engaged on Bachelor in Paradise. I feel like things will be different with Greg. Both of them just kind of seem to like move to their own beat. And I feel like they're just going to do whatever the heck they want. And we're going to have no idea what's going on with them ever because I get just like chill, laid back vibes from them. Like no rush, no pressure. We're having fun. If it turns into something, great.
Yeah. I'm excited to see the content
I would add,
too.
Yes, excited to see the content. I think I would add to what Blakely just said. I think the way that I see Victoria and Greg individually as well is like they aren't going to be public or jump into something relationally, like if it's not something that they're serious about, just because I don't know, from how they've moved, getting the platform that they have from the show, from the franchise. I feel like, especially for Greg, I don't see him like being so outwardly with Victoria unless he's really serious, just because he seems to kind of hold things close to his chest. So I think that says a lot as well. And I don't know. I think we have to definitely see how things pan out, see what they say on the reunion. But I have more high hopes than I have like concerns.
Yeah, we're just excited to see what happens because as I've mentioned, it's been a very, very long season, 6 extra episodes this year. So we need all of the tea from Victoria and Greg, and we'll be anxiously awaiting over here at Shared News. Let's move on to our next topic because Eliza is explaining going back and forth between Justin and Rodney on the Clickbait Nation podcast. Now, we all saw this on Paradise. Eliza could not make up her mind. She said, I was going through it. I was so distraught. I got to the point where I was telling the girls and the producers, I can't do this. I'd rather just take the L and leave. She went on by saying, it's killing me. There was so much pressure because either way, at the end of the day, I was going to hurt somebody to my core. They're both great guys, and that's what made this so much harder. And she shared that she didn't even know what her decision was going to be until the rose ceremony. She did not have enough time to make up her mind. I mean, Justin came in, they went on a date. It was probably like 2 days, 3 days. So she was just trying to feel things out with both of them. She couldn't make up her mind. She was crying up until the very last minute. And she said she chose Rodney because I did want to be with him. And in the back of her head, she wanted it to be Rodney because she spent more time with him. She was more loyal to him. However, she explained that going on that date with Justin set her and Rodney back, and in the end she ultimately wanted to explore things with Justin. There were so many people telling her that Rodney was the right choice for her. She was trying to process everything, but it was all happening in the span of a couple hours. You don't have time in Paradise to really process your feelings and figure out what you want because everything is happening from 1 second to the next. So I want to know what your takes are on this because I was so frustrated watching Eliza be so wishy-washy. I think her biggest mistake for me watching the show is that she gave the rose to Rodney to only break up with him the next day because she truly did want Justin because she was chasing him out to the van. So my whole thing was like, she should have just gave the rose to Justin, not listened to anyone else on the beach, and then broke up with Rodney at the rose ceremony because it would have been a lot less painful than dumping him the next day. Kayla, we did talk about this earlier this week on our live Paradise recap. After kind of hearing this insight from Eliza, do you have a little bit more grace for her? Or do you think she was being a little wishy-washy?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely had grace for Eliza from jump. I'm like, I really like her. I followed her for a while. But I think, one, I'm glad that she had a platform like Clickbait to really just like express herself fully and, get to kind of talk more about where her head was at. Because I think sometimes in reality TV, it's like, there's only going to be so much that they can show or so much that she can kind of like, just talk through her thought process. But I think that if I'm going to be real, like I think the mistakes she made with Rodney started even earlier. I think that it started with kind of it started with blaming him and kind of putting the responsibility for it kind of getting confusing on him rather than her just owning up for her own feelings. I think from jump, she wanted to go on the date with Justin. So she should have just been more upfront and real about where she was at from the beginning, because she said yes before she even talked to Rodney. So it's like from the beginning, she kind of was in between. And I think that's where Rodney was like, well, I thought you just wanted me to do X, Y, and Z, and then we'd be okay. But it really wasn't about the things Rodney was doing. It was about how she felt about them individually. So yeah, I think it's an unfortunate thing that happened because we love Rodney, but I think it's also something where it's like what you said, like everything's happening so fast, like in the grand scheme of things, she only knew Rodney for a week too. So it's like, you know, how much stake can we really put in it anyway? So yeah, that's my whole thought.
Yeah, I think it gives more insight. I feel like a lot of times as like viewers, we forget that realistically, this has only been a couple of days. Like you just said, Kayla, like she only spent a week with Rodney too. How the heck are you supposed to know like what your actual emotions are and what you're feeling, especially when you have so many people in your ear? Because obviously Rodney is a really great guy, and I think that we need to put him up for The Bachelor. Could have chosen him. We know. What did you say, Zach?
Please. I mean, anyone but Zach.
But like, I mean, at this point, right, the producers knew how this all ended. Give us Rodney. Why do they not give us who we want? Give us who we want. But I don't know. I mean, maybe she did Rodney a favor by giving him a rose because he got to stay, even though it broke his heart at the end. But
yeah.
when you're balancing between two guys, you know, it's always difficult, especially when they're kind. You never want to hurt anybody. But I think it gives good perspective and like puts everything back into perspective for viewers when you're reminded, like, this isn't just a reality show. Like, I only had a few days to make these decisions. Like, it's a lot harder than it seems.
Yeah, I mean, I totally heard that Rodney was low-key in the running for The Bachelor when they were deciding who it was going to go to. And of course, they ended up picking Zach. But I mean, at least for Rodney, he is now single, back on the market. I'm sure he has no problem, you know, meeting girls. He lives in LA now with Nate. So I think that things are definitely going to look up for him. And you know what, Eliza, she definitely made some mistakes. But as Kayla mentioned, it's a show. It was quick timing. She didn't have time to process. I can forgive her. I couldn't forgive her on Monday night because it was just really hard to see Rodney go through that. But now it's Friday. We're moving on. It's the weekend. Eliza, all is forgiven. All is well. Let's talk about Gabby and Erich, because this is truly the biggest Bachelor Nation news of the week. I mean, the speculation has been building for weeks about the end of their relationship, as Gabby has not been wearing her ring to Dancing with the Stars, and suddenly confirmed to Fox News after a show on Dancing with the Stars that they were supporting each other from afar. And then just last Friday, a source confirmed to E! News that it was over between Gabby and Erich because she didn't feel like they were the best fit. Now, she hasn't said anything about it personally yet, but rumor has it that she will be addressing it on Dancing with the Stars in her intro package this Monday night. So I don't know how deep she's going to get, but she definitely will be acknowledging it in some regards. It is part of the journey on Dancing with the Stars to kind of get vulnerable, especially while we're here in the final 2 weeks. It's the semifinals. So I feel like if she doesn't share or shed any light on this, I think some fans would be disappointed and maybe not want to vote for her to win the Mirror Ball. Blakely, what is your take on that?
My take on this, and I hate to have this conversation with you, Zach, because I feel like you were right, and I don't want to tell you were right, because you've been saying since Gabby and Erich got engaged that you didn't think that this was going to last, and all of these things, and I was a steadfast... my ship sailed for them. I loved them together. I was like, no, they're gonna make it. Zach is wrong. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And well, you know, here we are, and they're not together. And I'm just like so disappointed by it because I really loved them together. And I did feel like they were staying pretty strong with one another. At least from an outsider, like what it looked like on the outside. He was supporting her, showing up, and then all of a sudden he wasn't showing up. And they weren't all lovey-dovey, and they weren't all over each other, and we weren't seeing them on Instagram. Like, I didn't feel like there was any kind of, like, gradual shift. So I'm really curious. I hope we find out on Monday night, which everybody should know by now. We do all the Dancing with the Stars coverage here Monday night. So make sure you guys are tuning in then, because we will be updating if Gabby is addressing the rumors. But, yeah, I need to know what's going on.
Yeah, Kayla, what about you? I know you loved them.
Let me correct you on that. I really didn't. I'm not gonna
You
lie.
wanted her with Jason.
I wanted her with Jason. I really did. I know he was like, yeah, we can talk about that later. But yeah, no, it's funny because Blakely, I have to agree with Zach. From the beginning, I just was like, yeah, like I'm not surprised that they broke up just because I just never felt like it was that solid. I don't know. Like, we're Bachelor fans here. We know how it goes. Even with the most like in love, obsessed with each other couples, they don't make it. So I just never really felt that with Gabby and Erich. But I think, I think for Gabby, I think this will be an opportunity for her to get really vulnerable with her fans from Dancing with the Stars. We've seen her be vulnerable on Bachelorette, but for the Dancing with the Stars watchers who maybe didn't watch her season, this is a great opportunity to really open up because she's been just more like funny, like cutesy, like whatever, and that's great. But this might open up an opportunity for her to get more votes, for her to get some sympathy votes, maybe not to pity her, but just to kind of like support her further in the competition. And she needs that because if y'all watch the show, Charlie is the one to beat. And Gabby has a shot, but she needs that support. So hopefully we'll get that. And then just like what Blakely was saying, like I think we just need to kind of bridge the gap between, okay, what happened? Like, because it was like they were seemingly doing well, and then it was like nothing. And even just their release of their breakup was kind of cold. It wasn't very personal. It was like just their
Well, it didn't come from them. It came from a source at E! News. Right. So we really don't know. We haven't heard anything from Gabby or Erich. I mean, Erich has never even done interviews since the show. I think it's kind of a known fact that the show silenced him because of his whole scandal. So we've definitely never heard, I don't think we'll ever hear from Erich until that contract is up in a year. But the only thing we heard from Gabby was that quick bite during that Fox News interview where she said they're supporting each other from afar. So I think we're all rooting for Gabby. I think she could get votes either way. Like, I think people would have voted for her just because she was with Erich and they were shipping them as a newly couple from The Bachelorette. Or on the other side, she's going to get those breakup, glow-up votes. But we also cannot diminish the fact that she is so good as a dancer. What, Blakely?
Incredible. And I wanted to say too, though, one thing to keep in mind though is Erich still has been posting on Monday nights about like voting for Gabby and supporting Gabby. So I'm curious, like, do we think that they're on a break, but again, like she said, they're still supporting each other, or they're officially over? Could there be a rekindling? Because I know Jesse Palmer did an interview with E! News this week, and he had said that he has hope that they could come back together, like that maybe like kind of was giving me the vibe that maybe things weren't fully done.
I also saw though
could I think Erich also could just be posting anyway, like even if they broke up, which I believe they did, like he could still want to support her, like because they just broke up so recently. So it's like, and he also knows that if he doesn't post, everyone's gonna be like, whoa, it's over, how dare he not post.
No, I think on the other end too, it's funny because Jesse did say that, but then I also saw Rachel post her and Gabby and, like on her Instagram story being like back to the streets. So it's like, that seems pretty like concrete that it's over. But yeah, we'll
You're
have
right.
to see
I forgot about that, Kayla.
Yeah, well, listen, I've definitely heard that she's going to be talking about it on Dancing with the Stars on Monday. So stay tuned. I don't think that she's going to get like super in depth. I mean, those intro packages are usually 3 minutes, sometimes 5, maybe like 7. How long are they, Blakely?
Definitely not 7. I would say max 3 minutes.
Do you think they get longer though? Because now like there's only 6 couples left. So now they have more time to fill for the 2 hours.
Yeah, but then they've been doing those relays. Like they've been doing different type. They did the team dance 2 weeks ago. They did the relay this week. So they've been finding other ways to fill that time. I'm curious, will it continue being 2 hours long? Because my thought process for some reason was when they shorten the amount of contestants, they'd shorten the time. I was like, great, I only have to watch an hour of this.
No, it's still going to be 2 hours long. And you guys know I went to Dancing with the Stars on Monday. And it was so much fun to see the show live. And me and my friend were like, oh my God, this needs to end because it was so long. You have to get there early before the show even starts. But then after you see everyone dance, we were like, we don't need the relay race. Like, give us the elimination. And I definitely made sure to observe Gabby from the whole time because, you know, she was walking around and she seemed to be really happy and in good spirits. And as you guys know, I got to meet her very briefly after the show, and I didn't bring anything up about Erich. I mean, maybe it was in the back of my head, but I didn't say anything. But she seemed really happy and in a good place. So I'm definitely expecting her to just confirm the breakup on Monday. I think she'll just say it wasn't a good fit. You know, we're whatever. But I think that
I've been having a
either
hard
way,
time.
Yeah, just something a little bit more vague. But either way, I think it's important she says something because there's too much speculation. And if you don't address the elephant in the room, I, as a fan, am going to be upset because I want to be let in. This is the point of going on this show and going on reality TV, is to open up to the audience. If you're holding things back, which she's totally allowed to hold the most intimate things back, but I just feel like she has to at least address it in some capacity. Otherwise, the fans will feel a little jibbed.
I think she has total capacity to do that because of what she expressed and showed to us vulnerability wise on her Bachelorette season. So I think she'll be able to tap into that, show that side of herself for the Dancing with the Stars viewers. And I think they'll just fall even more in love with her.
For sure. I mean, Gabby's so likable. We're rooting for her to win the Mirror Ball. She's got this. Maybe Charlie, maybe Shangela, but we want to hear from you guys. Let us know
Maybe
your
Wayne.
thoughts on the biggest, maybe Wayne, not Selma. She's out, Blakely. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below on Victoria, Greg, all the Bachelor Nation news of the week. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell before you guys head out of here. I'm your host, Zachary Reality, with Blakely McHugh and Kayla Thompson. Our socials are on the screen right now, so be sure to give us a follow. Come say hello. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.